Hey guys, Lady Lee here. In this video, I want to share with you my trellis or how I build a trellis. Um, a few years ago, I was looking for a solution that is simple, something that I think it started with tomatoes because I used to use tomato cages and they were just so annoying to keep in place, and then they were so annoying to take out of the garden every season, and I didn't have anywhere to store them, and I had this mountain of wire, and it just annoyed me very much. So I was looking for a simple trellis, and I was looking for something that I can build easily, that I can move easily, that I can store easily, and something that for the most part can stay in place so I don't have to rebuild it every year. So something that can be used for pretty much any plant, if it's cucumbers, if it's tomatoes, if it's butternut squash, any plant that need a little bit of support. And I did a little bit of research, and I saw a picture of how they trellising tomatoes in the greenhouses and basically just tying them to a string on the bar on the top of the hoop house. And I was thinking, well, let me try to make some sort of something that is like a bar, that I can tie either a net to or a string to. So I came up with this design. Now it's kind of popular, but this is a post that has been on the blog. I think it's called How to Support Tomato Plants or something like that for many years, and I don't remember seeing it anywhere back then, but I figured let's try and make something that is kind of like replica of what they have in the greenhouses just out for the field. So it starts with 6, or I think it's 7 feet T-posts, and I wanted about 6 feet above ground. So I went with 7 feet T-posts, and then I pound 1 foot of them into the ground. And then on the top of the T-post, I put 1/4 and 1 inch PVC tees. And into the PVC tees goes that rebar. I think it's a 10-foot rebar. My garden beds behind my house are about 10 to 11 feet, so that works good. I would not do this with spacing that between the T-posts that is more than 10 feet. In fact, if you have very heavy plants, I'll probably put another T-post in between and do like a T-post every 5 feet. Back in 2017, when I figured this thing out, I was growing on a larger scale at my farm, which is across the road from where my house is, and I had 100-foot trellis in 100-foot row of trellis in there that was all tomatoes. These pictures are on the blog, and I think I did something like 7 feet apart or something like that. But here behind my house, for most of the plants that I grow, I think 10 feet between the T-post is just enough. So once you have this kind of frame and you see how thin it is and how easy, like imagine if you had to take this out, it'd be super easy to store. Just put the T-posts and the rebars in a pile somewhere. They don't take lots of space or anything like that. These PVC tees that you see me using here, I literally have them since 2017, and they're not breaking. They're pretty thick plastic, and they're not breaking or going anywhere. So I have not needed to buy any other materials for my trellises since that year that I invested in some T-posts and rebars and stuff like that. Once you have that frame up, then you have 2 options. Option number 1 is putting the trellis net. I get this net from Berry Hill Irrigation, just because they're close to us and they're amazing store for farm supply. But you can also get it on Amazon or Johnny Selected Seeds or pretty much anywhere. So that's option number one, and I use that for plants like cucumbers. I'll show you at the end of the video how it looks when the plants are actually growing on it. So the squares are great for cucumbers, for butternut squash, things like that are kind of all over the place and like to climb. And the other option in this trellis is a string, and I'll show you that at the end of the video. And that is for tomatoes, where you don't use the net, you just put a string and a stake at the bottom, and then tie the string to a stake, and then each plant you prune into one main vine, and that vine climbs that string. So again, I'll show you how that looks at the end of the video. I used, I think, 5 feet net here, so I had to use a stake in the middle and then just zip tie the net to the stake, because it kind of it needs a little help to stay lower. And then the cucumbers, I planted cucumbers here, so the cucumbers will grow for a couple of weeks, and then when they reach the net, I will start kind of weaving them through. They usually need a little bit of help at the beginning to find the net, and then once they catch it, then they're off and go up pretty quickly. I put everything, connect everything to the frame with zip ties. Super easy. They usually can last a couple of years in the weather in the garden. So it's pretty simple, and I've been using this design for many years, and I love it. I love it especially because it can just stay in place. So the same trellis this year is cucumbers, and next year, if I want to take the net down, it's super easy to do that, and then just fold it and keep it in the shed, and then I can put instead a string and put tomatoes here. If I need it as a bed for carrots or beets or whatever, then pulling the T-post is also pretty quickly. So you can see here how the cucumbers climb the net, and again, I usually have to help them a little bit at the beginning, and then as they grow, sometimes you have to kind of go around and help them loop around the net. It's really helpful when you have a small space to have the plants grow up instead of just crawl all over the ground. And over here you can see how this trellis looks with the strings. So basically I just tie a string to the top rebar and then a stake in the ground. When I plant the tomato, I put the stake in the hole where I plant the tomato. And then I tie the string to the stake on the bottom, and then as the plant grows, I just wrap the main stem around the string and prune the suckers off. That's it, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this and this was helpful, and I'll see you again in the next video.